All right, folks, we got breaking news within the past hour here. The SEC has delayed the 21 shares spot XRP ETF. And now, is this an attack on XRP? Not so fast. They also delayed the Solana ETF. I forget whose ETF that was. Earlier this week, though, we saw the SEC delay a Solana spot ETF. Today, we get the 21 shares XRP ETF delayed. And I think it's going to be safe to say that the Grayscale and Canary Capital spot ETFs that were due for a response this week are most likely going to be delayed as well. Like I said, is this an attack against XRP? Not so fast. I really think, if you want the honest truth, that this goes back to the Wall Street boys and girls don't have all of their ducks in a row yet. We haven't seen that BlackRock spot XRP ETF, and that one is on the way. There's a reason why Larry Fink said what he said with Charlie Gasparino on Fox Business. There's a reason why Larry Fink couldn't talk about XRP and the potential for BlackRock to have an XRP ETF. It's on the way. But 21 shares, Grayscale, Canary, 3 spot ETFs for XRP that were due for a response this week, most likely going to be delayed. And I actually said, watch out for this. Buy the rumor, sell the news on the stablecoin, and watch out for, if these ETFs get delayed, for a little bit of a pullback here. The market was already down. I haven't checked it within the past couple hours. I was out running errands. I picked up some diesel exhaust fluid for my truck, some windshield wash, and a couple other things here. So I'm out running errands. I hadn't checked the price yet, so I don't know how it's reacting to this news that the SEC has delayed this spot XRP ETF, but we were prepared for this one. Solana delay. And the reason why I wanted to mention this too is to show that it's not just an attack on XRP. They're delaying Solana and many other cryptocurrencies that are due for a spot ETF. They're being delayed as well. Wall Street boys and girls aren't ready yet. BlackRock's not ready yet. Whatever the case may be, right? We don't have these ETFs live. And until then, we're talking about retail flows of liquidity in and out of XRP, which is why XRP price is just, hanging out, chopping sideways, recovered up from $2, but no fireworks right now because we got no massive inflows. This is just retail trading essentially. Now, what's happening here is Jack McDonald, he just put out a tweet about ramping up liquidity on the XRP ledger in response to BitMEX, which is now allowing their users to trade and store RLUSD on their platform, but also use it as collateral for their derivatives platform. They're one of the earliest, I think maybe one of the first derivatives platforms for cryptocurrency, BitMEX, founded by Arthur Hayes a long time ago. And now they got RLUSD live. You can use it for margin, and you also are going to be able to use XRP for your margin on their platform here soon as well. So if you want to be a degen and trade on BitMEX, they don't allow it for US users, but it is available now. Jack McDonald retweets that BitMEX post though, and he says, or somebody commenting on the fact that it's going to be issued, the RLUSD issued on Ethereum and the XRP ledger, he retweets and responds that they're working on ramping up liquidity on the XRP ledger right now. And so more to come on that. Very excited about that. But on that point, Masari's a crypto research firm, big one. They just put, and they haven't always been friendly to XRP or Ripple, by the way, but now they just put out a Q1 2025 market report, the most in-depth market report that they've ever done on the XRP ledger. All part of that XRP go viral moment that I've been talking about. Here's just a few stats that they give us. The daily active addresses, quarter on quarter, right? Up 142%. That's daily active addresses on the XRP ledger. Daily central limit order book volume. So they say daily CLOB volume. CLOB stands for central limit order book. That's the decentralized exchange that's built into the XRP ledger. So how much activity on our XRP ledger DEX? Up 74% quarter on quarter. Just more growth, more activity. And then RLUSD market cap on the XRP ledger, because it's issued on Ethereum and it's also issued on the XRP ledger. They, for many different reasons, they issued on the Ethereum network as well, so that you can bridge that liquidity back over, right? But with the XRP ledger market cap of RLUSD, it is up 304% quarter on quarter. And I've already pointed out the pace at which RLUSD is growing far surpasses the rate at which USDC and Tether both grew in their early days. It's not even close, by the way. Speaking of that, A lot of comments being made, speculation being made. I threw in and interjected my speculation into this quote unquote bidding war. And I just asked the question, is Coinbase even in a position? We know about the most recent exploit. That's not the only issue that they've been facing. Are they even in a position, without over-leveraging themselves, to actually buy Circle? Are they even seriously here at the table ready to do a deal? Or are they just working with their partner? By the way, Circle and Coinbase have been partnered up for years. And Coinbase gets 50% of the revenue that Circle makes. So right on that top line revenue, 50% of that off to Coinbase. Heck of a deal for Coinbase, right? Coinbase doesn't need to buy out Circle, right? They're already getting 50% of their revenue, not bottom line profit, top line revenue. It's a heck of a deal. And I asked the question, are they even in a position, one, in are they even serious, right? Or are they just working with their partner to help Circle bid up and get that valuation higher and making Ripple shell out a few more billion to close this deal? Oh God, what I would pay to be a fly on the wall right now in the top C-suite of Ripple, wherever this deal is being negotiated at, what I would do to be in the room right now and listening to these negotiations and how Ripple really feels about this situation. I can only imagine. Brad Greenhouse, David, the team, with their lawyers too, their legal assassins. God, what I would do to be in that boardroom. But bringing it back to the point, XRP Ledger getting attention, XRP activity growing 142% quarter on quarter, RLUSD on the XRP Ledger, rapidly growing 300%. And this all goes back to this most recent update that I gave this morning. I noted how Ledger, the cold storage device for our cryptocurrency, right? Ledger, they've now integrated the AMM and NFTs, I believe, as well, but for sure the AMM integration with Ledger. So basically, if you want to be your own bank and interact with the XRP Ledger without any middleman, period, which for many of us is ideal, you could hold your own keys, self-custody your XRP, but then when you want to interact with the Ledger and partake in the AMM, provide liquidity, you'll be able to do so directly from your Ledger account. I haven't looked all the way into it, but that's what I'm reading into it so far, is that they've integrated the AMM and NFTs from the XRP Ledger back onto your Ledger device or the platform. Okay, more on that later, and I'm going to be breaking down all of this down in tonight's live show. A lot taking place. People don't understand why XRP is not pumping. We'll break that down for you too, right? Very simply put, weak hands are selling off without understanding what they hold or being in a position where they have to sell off XRP because our Main Street economy around us is not strong. Real situation out here on the Main Street. And so what's happening is it's just transferring to smart money, institutional investors, folks like myself and others that are holding bags of XRP that we don't plan on exiting in any serious way. And it's all leading to a supply shock scenario down the road once the ETFs truly do go live, the spot ETFs, which will be backed physically by XRP. This situation, most people are going to miss this one. And I'm going to talk more about it later, but I'm actually feeling, you can only do so much. You can only do so much to convince people, to show them the light, right? You can lead a horse to water, the old saying goes, right? And so that's what we try to do every single day. I'm going to be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for a full breakdown. But the breaking news that I want to get out for you guys right now is that we have the spot ETFs for XRP going to be delayed. Watch for the pullback. It's not just XRP, it's Solana. And a point that I forgot to mention earlier is that we just got the CME futures live on yesterday, Monday, May 19th for XRP. So that was the next step to see these ETFs go live. The SEC wants to see that there's a healthy futures market for these assets or stocks before they go live with the ETFs. And so although we have our CME futures live yesterday, they still delayed it. And they also delayed the Solana spot ETFs, even though Solana had their CME futures went live in March. I went and looked this up this morning just to verify and confirm. In March, the CME futures went live for Solana. So Solana is ready to go. And I think XRP is as well too. I think who's not ready to go is the Wall Street boys and girls that need to get their ducks in a row. And I also have a feeling that they want to go live with not just XRP, but Solana, Dogecoin, and multiple assets at once. Just like when they went live with 11 Bitcoin ETFs on January 11, 2024, last year, they went live with 11 ETFs and they allowed everybody to get in at the same time. I think that they're doing something similar with the altcoins. Altcoins. I don't consider XRP an altcoin, but I think that they're going to go live with Solana, Doge, XRP, and others. I have a funny feeling that that's how they're going to play this one out. But nonetheless, the spot ETFs for XRP will be live this year. And the inflows from that are going to be 5 to 10 billion conservatively. And what that does to XRP price conservatively is take it to 10, 20, and probably $30 conservatively. If we get 10 billion plus in inflows, just depending on how quick those inflows come. But I think that we're looking at a double-digit XRP with ease. Don't be confused on that fact, okay? All right, guys, I will be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for our live show. I hope everybody is having a great day. That's your quick update. See you tonight. If you could on the way out, we greatly appreciate it. Okay? Thank you and have a good one.